Discussing his phenomenal time travel novella, The Chronocar, I have a very special guest on the channel today. Hi, I'm Michael Leverts, and this is Fit to be Read. Self-published independent author Steve Bellinger delivers excitement, suspense, and an emotional roller coaster with his phenomenal time travel novella, The Chronocar. This book easily belongs in league with any of the classic or modern science fiction titles given to us by any of the large publishing houses. I recommend The Chronocar as a top-notch time travel fiction, of course, and also to those who look for science fiction that has a soul and provokes a full range of emotional reactions. The events of the story will make you laugh, hold your breath, get angry, and at times, if you're not paying attention, will catch you off guard. While this is not a book written toward a young audience, it is definitely one that can be read and enjoyed from teenagers on up to the most seasoned of time travel lit connoisseurs. As with each review on this channel, the episode will begin with a spoiler-free review to introduce you to the novel. Unlike most reviews on this channel, you're not going to hear it from me. I have the distinct honor of presenting a synopsis of The Chronocar from its award-winning author, independent writer and author, Steve Bellinger. Steve and I connected for an interview after I finished reading his book. Part of this interview will appear on my upcoming Top 210 Science Fiction Books episode, and also on a preview video where I talk to Steve, Adrian Tchaikovsky, Ian MacDonald, and other incredible authors about science fiction. Engage with me in the comment section and let me know if you have read this novel or other self-published releases that you would recommend to the rest of us. Are you ready to hear what The Chronocar is about? Well, here we go. What is The Chronocar about?
The Chronocar is a time travel story that starts off with the son of a slave who is a genius. He stumbles upon Isaac Newton's Principia, which is a book by Isaac Newton that outlines the principles of physics as understood at the time. But he stumbles upon that, reads it, understands it, memorizes it. He gets a PhD in physics from Tuskegee, and you'll have to read the book to figure out how that happens. He comes up with the idea for a time machine that he can't build because the technology doesn't yet exist. Then 125 years later, a black IIT student, who is actually based on me, builds the time machine and goes back to the year 1919 to visit the doctor. But he gets mixed up in the bloodiest race riot in the city's history. If there's a theme to The Chronocar, it's basically about consequences. You know, when you read H.G. Wells' Time Machine or any other time travel story, they're mostly about how the individual changes the timeline or experiences a different timeline. The Chronocar is the only story that I've seen that actually deals with the science of time travel.
Absolutely. And I've already told you this. I loved this story. It was so engrossing to read this, but I understand I'm not the only one. I hear this has won an award or two.
Yes. I have to actually read it off. It was a 2015 Black Science Fiction Society Book of the Month, 2018 Best Indie Book Literary Award for Science Fiction, and it won the Reader's Favorite Gold Medal for Science Fiction in 2019.
Any chance I can get a look at that?
Yeah, the Best Indie Book Award. This is the actual trophy, if I can get it in focus. I won this in 2018. In 2019, I won the Reader's Favorite Gold Medal, if you can see that. In fact, we flew to Miami to pick up the medal, and I got a chance to walk across the stage and shake the guy's hand and everything else. Another interesting honor is that, again, the main character of the story is a student of the Illinois Institute of Technology, which I was also. I did a presentation there once, left a couple of copies for students, and they ended up putting a copy of my novel in the university's archives.
Wow, that's amazing. What an honor. What inspired you to write The Chronocar?
Well, you know, I've since I was a kid, when I first got into science fiction, I wanted to write the great science fiction novel, like anybody else, and I wanted to write a story which had as much real science in it as possible. This is a trick that I sort of learned from Asimov, because the Chronocar starts off with some real science and then goes off into the fictional part. I also wanted to write something that kind of related to me, you know, the Black experience. Although I do want to make it clear that I don't consider the Chronocar to be Black science fiction. it's science fiction that happens to Black people. I mean, anyone of any other ethnicity could have written this story, from their point of view, because the actual machine would be the same. Um, and again, it's just something I wanted to do. I mean, it was just a dream. And it's funny, it's not a million seller, but I think I achieved my goal, which is to write a good story that people enjoy. I've had a chance to talk to people about it. I've had a chance to sort of live it. In fact, if you will indulge me,
Of
I've got
course.
a model of the Chronocar. This was a 3D printed model by a young man named Arcelius Scott, and he has a company called Dark Edge Unlimited. You can check him out on YouTube. And he built it so that you can actually open it up and see the interior. So the thing is, I've created my own little universe here based on my characters and the Chronocar. So my own little world.
That's amazing. It was such an enjoyable read, and I hope millions of people do read it, because it is really one of the great time travel novels that I've read, among many that I've read. The Chronocar was my first Bellinger novel. What else from your catalog would you recommend that I pick up next?
Now, that's an interesting question, because I would normally have people read them in the order that I wrote them, but it's probably better. Actually, the last of the 4 books that I've written is the sequel to the Chronocar, which is Time Waits for No One. And it is part 2 and the end of the story.
Another big thank you to Steve Bellinger for sharing this great work with us, and thank you to all of you for watching today. I'm Michael Leverts, and this is Fit to be Read.